Welcome back to the channel, friends. What an absolute turnaround. Do you know what? There are some things in SuperCoach that are just so perfect when it happens. When you get fisted by an injured captain last week, and then you turn around and you captain the highest scoring SuperCoach player this week. It's like an absolute justice when it comes to SuperCoach, and fuck, it felt good. The Gutho Gorillas have bounced back. We're back. We're ranked 6,939. We saw green arrows. The wheels keep turning. So very, very happy with that performance. 12.53. Team value is looking very, very good at $14.2 million. Yeah, a lot to talk about. This week is, man, there's a lot going on. A lot of trade targets, a lot to talk about. A lot of moving pieces. So let's just have a quick chat. We'll go over my side. We'll have a look-see. We'll point out some things. And we'll go from there, guys. All right? Thanks for tuning in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start from top, work our way down, and we'll go over what I think I'm going to be doing per player. So Starling and Mamazelis up the top. I think that they've both kind of reached their price potential or coming very, very close to it. Starling has a very, very good draw. He can definitely jag some attacking stats, and that attack can kind of like boost his price again. So it could get him up to like 550, 600. But those minutes they just keep coming down each week, especially with Owen Paddy showing that he can rub shoulders with first grade players. So it's hard at the moment when you got Starling. You want to keep him because he's good and blah blah blah. But sometimes you just have to let your baby go. And Starling is getting to that point where I might have to let him go. Mamazelis with a 39. I didn't play him. I chose to play Starling. Mamazelis is he's probably just going to be that second hooker option where you just keep him there all season. Look, if Mamazelis is the only issue in your side, then you're doing pretty well. Payne Haas, 51. For some reason, he just didn't want to play on the weekend. So I was actually quite happy with that because I obviously captained Gutho, and half of the city decided to captain Haas. With a 51, and the bloke was on like 23 at half time. So I'm just sitting there just going, oh my God, this can't be happening. This is amazing. And he managed to jag himself up to a 51, which is like, I swear to God, he scored like 20 points in like 6 minutes. It's Payne Haas. Anyway, Terrell May with a 69, Nafahu White with a 55. Gula's just sitting there. He's doing nothing because he's suspended. Ola Kawati with an 86. Jeez, it was looking grim. It was looking grim as an Ola Kawati owner. I swear he was on like 35 with like 20 minutes to go. And I was just like, oh, man. And then that line break, try assist, tackle bust. He got like 40 points in the last 10 minutes of that game, which was absolutely incredible. But you know what? That's what you get from guns like that. So am I surprised? No. Tino with a 67 with 10 in the bin. Oh, man. So he's going to be suspended next week against the Dragons. That's when my boy Firma comes into play. Look, Firma got 28. He was a victim of how that game played out. He got moved to centre. It was on the other side of the field where all the action was happening. He was on the opposite side of the field where all the action was happening. So he lost all of his base. He wasn't involved. He scored a 28. How gross is that? He ended up dropping out of my side. Thank God for flex. But how does it... Oh, man. Sometimes there's just so much luck involved in SuperCoach sometimes. Like, you bring in players that average like 60, 65 for the first 3 games, and then they just go 50, 28. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, anyway... Horse with a 65. He's just going to keep being consistent. I didn't play Seyfarth. Now, Seyfarth, 37. There's question marks around Seyfarth for me now. There wasn't earlier, but the thing is, now it's starting to get to that point in the early part of the season where you want to try and move guys on like Seyfarth to guns. Let's just have a look. So Seyfarth's break even is 46, so it's not an urgent rush. You can hold him. He's actually a playable option this week against the Knights, so it's going to be interesting what I do with Seyfarth going forward. He's not in my trade plans this week, so stay tuned for the rest of the episode, my friends, because I'll be going over my trade plans and thoughts around a lot of players. Hubner with the 64, I left him on the Pine. I left Sandon Smith on the Pine too, so like, oh man, that score that I got could have been a lot more. Hines with a 48, like, geez, they look bad. The Sharks look bad. I don't know what, yeah. I had Sharks in my top 4 at the start of the season. I tell you what, friends, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, Trindle has killed the Nico Hines that we once loved. Yeah. Traded in Jaden Campbell. He scored an absolutely delightful 52. Unbelievable stuff. Cameron Munster, 93 with... Did he score 2 tries? Look, if you don't have any Storm players... If you don't have any Storm players by now, I don't know. I genuinely have no idea what the hell you're doing. I really don't, to be quite frank with you. So, Munster, 93. Tuipulotu with a 75. I expected a little bit better, especially in that high-scoring Eels game, but he's going to be someone that you will be wanting to move on to players like Lomax, like... Garrick, if you haven't got him, like a Herbie Farnworth, like a fallen gun, like a Sarko. Like, you just want to be mindful that Tuipulotu is on a little bit of a run right now. What's his break even? So his break even's 89, and he's at home against the Titans this week, and the Dragons will be running at the weaker defensive side of the Titans, so he should score a try and possibly hit that break even, so just be a little bit mindful. Jesse Arthurs with a 60. I thought I'd double down, so last week I obviously flipped the coin and decided to play Arthurs over Shib. I thought, you know what, I'm going to play both of them against the Tigers. Obviously, Shib scores a 33 the week that I play him. Do you know what? It's just... sometimes in SuperCoach, it's almost scripted. Like, it's almost like you're living in some form of, like simulation. Like, you bench Shibasaki last week, he scores 110. You play him this week, he scores a 33. It's just like, fucking hell, man. Anyway, played Jenkins for a 66. Brilliant stuff. Benched Marzu for a 42. Geez, the Dogs' defense. Wow. They are the real deal this season. I know it's early, but you've got to understand, like, they're doing this without Burton. The Dogs could be really there come end of season. I could honestly see a Bulldogs Storm grand final, and God, that would be a good game. I think Panthers will fall short. I think this is the year that finally happens. I mean, come on, man. They're 1 in 5. There's a lot going on there. They'll be there. They're too good of a club. They're too good of a side. But man, there's a lot of injuries going on at the moment. There's a lot of Anyway, Tamale with a 54. He's just going to keep making cash, slow grind. And then we got King Gutho with a 130. Unbelievable stuff. 2 tries, try assist, you name it. He's a genuine captain option this Friday night. If you've got Cleary, VC Cleary on Thursday night and C Gutho, that's the play. So, yeah. Like, Gutho could be 900k in the next 2 weeks. Like, if Gutho scores 900... if Gutho scores a ton this week, that's 2 tons in his rolling average. He will... Yeah. Didn't play Yongi. 107. Absolutely spewing about that. Yeah. What do you do, man? You can't get them all correct, can you? Pappenhausen with a 68. They parked the Ferrari for the last 15 minutes, so he didn't actually continue to play. If he did, he probably would have hit maybe 80. So, anyway. Pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with how the side's looking. I don't have any major issues that I need to address. I do want to... I've got 235k in the bank. Now, 235k in the bank, it's going to get me someone who I have faded until up until now. Is that even English? Now, the amount of abuse and laughter that I copped for fading Cleary, God, it feels good to be able to get him at 680k this week. Because that's exactly what I'm going to be doing, friends. Alright, so this week, my trade is going to be Starling to Cleary via Sandon Smith's Jules. And then my second trade will be Gula down to Dylan Egan, which will bag me 190k. Which gives me the funds to be able to bring in Eliasa Katoa next week or an Angus next week for Seyfarth. And then all of the pieces are starting to come into play. So next week, okay, friends, let's just quickly, we'll do it. That's not who we want. We want, I actually don't know. Usually I make my trades on my mobile, but for some reason on this desktop it's a little bit harder to do to move your jewels around. But anyway, Gula will end up being Dylan Egan, and then Seyfarth will end up being Eliasa Katoa. Now, friends, I've got another piece of information I just want to address. Obviously, like on SuperCoach Central, it's an absolute fucking jungle out there. There's a lot of soy boys. There's a lot of people out there that are very, very low in testosterone, very low, constantly drinking soy milk. The amount of abuse that I cop weekly, at least once, twice, 3 times a week. I did suggest that people should trade Ponga to Marzu 2 weeks ago. Since then, Gutho scored 177 points, and Ponga has scored, I think it's like 35. Ponga now has a break even of 100 and God knows how much, and Gutho is a genuine captain option. So I mean this with all disrespect. You can all go and eat my ass. Anyway, we'll get that out of the system and we're moving on. So just quietly, let's just talk about the most traded out of the players in my side. I think that there's people out there that are selling Jesse Arthurs. I can get around it. I think he's topped out. I think he'll probably score a try this week against the Roosters. There's a lot going on there. Talk is that Dom Young's dropped. There's a lot going on. A lot of people are trading Nico Hines out. I don't really understand that. I think people are going Hines to Cleary, the people who faded Cleary with me, but you kind of want to have both, unless you want, I don't know. I've got a few questions to go over just after I get this out. So Peter Mamazellus, a lot of people are trading him. I can understand. I wouldn't be doing it personally. Nafahu White, I genuinely have absolutely no idea why you are trading Nafahu White. Lindsay Collins is out for the next 6 to 7 weeks with an MCL injury. He will be almost a play week in, week out. Like, he will get you 55. Like 50, 55, he's almost just a safe play. Most traded in, Thomas Kant, Dylan Egan, Elias Katoa, Jerome Hughes and Sua Wong. Now, I'm just going to go over some questions. I've got a few questions that I'm just going to go over. I'll put up a post on my SuperCoach page. So I'm just going to be reading them out as I go, and I'll just answer them the best that I can. So we have a question here from Paul. With fullbacks being so painful, what are your top 3 that you want by season's end? Break down why and give some people targets to trade Turbo from if they haven't already. Upgrade Yongi in the next couple of weeks, or those that may be very tempted to move on Ponga after 2 lackluster performances. Okay, so let's just I think the 3 fullbacks that you want by the end of the season, I think you'll want to have Latrell. I think you'll want to have Ponga. And I think that you'll want to have... Oh, man. It's hard because I genuinely think that Gutho could be a season keeper. Only because he does everything in that Dragon side when it comes to their attack. Everything. And there's going to be a run of games there where the Dragons go on a run of like 2 to 3 wins in a row. Gutho's scoring well. Oh, man, it's hard. Pappenhausen, look, I think the 3 that you want by the end of the season will be Latrell, Pappenhausen and Ponga. I think Tedesco will be close. I think Gutho will be close. But those are the ones that I would be going with. I don't trust Dylan Edwards. I think that he's going to be a bit of a tampon. There are also people like myself with Campbell in the flex position, and I'm waiting for the right fullback to put their hand up to move Campbell into 5'8 position and trade Dewey out. Righto. Is it too early to make moves to get David Fafita? Yes, I think it is too early. I think there are better options like Katoa, like Angus, Olakawatu if you haven't got him. I think you could probably wait a couple of weeks on Fafita. I just don't know. I think not owning Fafita won't hurt you. But I think not owning Elias Katoa or Angus, not really Angus, but more Katoa, I think that he's someone that will hurt you if you don't own him. So moving on to the next question. Is Thomas Kant worth bringing in this week, at least for the next fortnight? Could make 150k easy before Lucas is back. Now, KPP is actually back this week, so it's going to be an interesting look to see how teams list rolls out. But I personally would want to avoid that trap. I think once Lucas is back, which it looks like he'll be back in about 2 or 3 weeks, you kind of don't want to, you're going to trade Kant in, and then he could genuinely not be in the side in 2 weeks' time. And then you're just left with like a player that's enough. I think if you have enough depth in your 2RF already, I think you could probably go without. Or I'll be just completely wrong, but that's just my opinion. Who is the most must-have halfback, Cleary or Hughes? I think both. Obviously, you want to have both, but it's just a little bit of it's just a pain in the ass when you've got Munster, because you don't want to have both Munster and Hughes at the same time. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Cleary still is the number one halfback option, but geez, it's close. Moving on. There was other questions I need to get to. Where are they? Hold on 1 second, guys. My phone is just playing up. With KPP and Lucas returning to the Knights in the near future, do you think Cartners are worth the trade? Yeah, look, I've already been over that. Those are the questions that were put through to us. So, yeah. Anyway, that about wraps it up, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in again. I hope you all went well. Let me know how you went in the comment section. Let me know your trade thoughts. Let me know your targets going forward. Look, I'll just quickly, before I head off, I just want to let people know my target. So, just complete knee-jerk reaction. I do want to try and turn Arthurs into Lomax, and I do want to try and turn Yongi into Walsh over the next couple of weeks. Actually, look, saying that out loud, it's probably not going to be Walsh. It's probably actually going to be Ponga. So Yongi to Ponga is probably going to be the play. Once a couple of cheapies fatten up and you want to try and move them on. So that's just a quick thought. Anyway, all good, guys. Oh, just quickly, the hooker spot. So obviously the hooker spot is an absolute mess at the moment. I'll tell you just off the top of my head who my number one trade target for hooker is. Max Plath. I think he will be number one hooker come end of season. So thank you all for tuning in. Let me know in the comments how you went. Well done, guys. Keep going and good luck for this week. See you.